Welcome back, everybody, to All Sports Uncut. I'm Adam.
I'm Pip.
Welcome back. So we're here to talk about some sports.
All sports and nothing but the sports, so help the sports.
Sports?
Sports?
Sports.
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 Sports!
That's 4 in a row.
No, that's like 5.
Is it?
Yeah. We've got like 5 or 6 of them in a row. Too bad you and the champ don't click and you can't ever connect on that high five.
Guys is a jerk to me, man.
Hey, I mean, champ's got a lot. He just finished his tour with all the Penguins.
Did you see the bump on his head, though?
The bump is not there. It's gone. The champ heals like lightning. It's unreal to see.
I haven't seen him around headquarters wearing, having an ice pack.
I mean, the soreness might still be there, but the lump is gone, and he's got that big lawsuit with that steel chair coming up. I mean, he's whatever with you about it. You weren't the one who caused physical damage to the champ. It was the chair that caused damage to the champ. So he's dealing with that right now.
Okay, cool.
So
if you don't know what we're talking about, go to the other
go to
show.
the other page and you'll learn.
Go to the other show and you'll enjoy that. So let's just go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah.
We have our World Series coming up.
World Series.
We have our Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yes.
Making it on. Congratulations for winning Game 7.
Coming back from a 3-1 deficit, and they stepped up. They played like the best team in baseball, and they won. Now, let's see if they can...
Well, hang on. We got to give credit to the American League as well.
Yes.
Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Rays.
Tampa Bay Rays.
For winning the American League as well. You guys will be going to the World Series to face our Dodgers. I hope it's going to be a great series.
Yes. No, you have a team from L.A. and a team from Florida, and they're playing in Texas, right in the middle. They met in the middle on that one.
You know what's really... And really. You know what's also funny, too? If you look at the finals, we had a team from Florida and a team from L.A.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing in Orlando.
Yeah, they were playing in Orlando. They didn't meet. They didn't meet in the middle. They went there. But also, interesting note here. Okay, Tampa Bay Lightning, Stanley Cup champions. Mm-hmm. If the Tampa Bay Rays can win the World Series, they'll be the World Series champs. Yep. And if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can make it to the Super Bowl, which is in Tampa Bay this year, and win the Super Bowl, Tampa Bay could have a clean sweep of all major sports titles this year,
except for NBA.
Except for the NBA, but Tampa Bay doesn't have an NBA.
Well, you have the Miami Heat.
That's different.
Yeah, but
Tampa Bay could sweep.
It'll be interesting. It's very interesting. That's a very weird concept, but I like it.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little basketball since we're on the topic.
Yeah,
right
little hoops.
So we're not going to talk about any trade rumors or anything going on. I know there's a lot of them going on. What I want to talk about is this big debate going on that LeBron James has had more competition than MJ did winning his 6 titles.
Yes.
And and also his supporting cast has been weaker than the supporting cast of Michael.
Yes, I mean, that is the ongoing debate now with LeBron winning his 4th title with 3 different teams and 3 different coaches and all 3 different sets of supporting cast members. I mean, when he won it in Miami, he had D-Wade and the Velociraptor with him. And they had a decent supporting cast, too, down there in Miami. They had Birdman, who's...
You love me some Birdman.
Love me some Birdman. Then he goes back to Cleveland. They get Kyrie, and they get K-Love, which, I mean, isn't as strong as a supporting cast as D-Wade and the Velociraptor was, in my opinion. And then you had to deal with, some... fallacies of J.R. Smith and some of the questionable things he didn't find, but we won't talk about that too much. But then he comes to L.A., where he gets Anthony Davis, by far next to LeBron, probably the second best player.
I mean D-Wade.
No, coming to L.A.
But you're talking about the supporting cast for LeBron. Probably his best supporting cast since D-Wade.
Yeah, his best supporting cast since D-Wade, because he gets AD, and then he gets a great career resurgence out of Dwight Howard, which kind of completed that trio in my opinion. And a lot of guys on the Lakers stepped up this year. A lot of them stepped up, balled out.
Yeah.
And so yes, there is that debate of, yes, you can arguably say LeBron did it with 3 different teams with 3 different coaches, and MJ did it with one team, the same coach,
the same running mate
in Pippen, with the addition of Dennis Rodman, who's by far the best rebounder in NBA history,
probably the best defender in NBA history.
Yeah, and a great, and by the way, they almost made it to the finals that year where MJ missed half the season because he, retired for a little bit there, and they made it into the playoffs and almost made it all the way. So there is that debate that LeBron did travel around, do it with 3 different teams. But my question in that debate is, did LeBron do for the game of basketball what Michael Jordan did for the game of basketball in his era? Did LeBron do that in this era like Michael Jordan did in his era?
No.
And I don't think LeBron did.
No, and you can't say that he's done it, because no, it wasn't. What what Michael did for the game of basketball, he brought it into the limelight. He brought it into mainstream. It wasn't already a mainstream thing. It was, but it wasn't to the same popularity. Michael made being basketball cool. Because before that, it was a dirty, gritty game. You look at the bad boy Pistons. You look at the early Celtics. You look at not Showtime of Lakers, but
Kareem.
The teams before that, Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, all those guys. So it's a different time. But he also made basketball cool in Chicago. And Chicago was not a basketball town.
No, their team was terrible.
Yeah, they were absolutely terrible. If you watch The Last Dance, which we both have,
yes,
Chicago was not a basketball town. They were football, and then the Blackhawks.
Yep,
that was it. And then the Bulls were just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the Cubbies, and you had the White Sox.
And not only that, Michael Jordan made basketball popular worldwide.
Yes.
I mean, the Bulls traveled to China to play a game, and everyone came to see MJ. Pippen wasn't there.
No.
Rodman wasn't there.
No.
Everyone came to see MJ.
Yeah.
Millions of people turned out to see MJ. MJ even turned basketball shoes into a pop culture phenomenon in the mid 80s.
The mid 80s.
Because he signed his sneaker deal his rookie year.
He signed it his rookie year. He didn't come out with the black and white and red Air Force Ones, I think, until his third year.
Yeah, but the original, the Jordan ones, the originals, the one everyone loves, that he made a shoe standstill icon to this day.
Yeah.
That style is iconic, and it will never be changed. But also the way he played. I mean, old school basketball was pass the ball around, get it down in the middle into the paint for the close shot, make the 2, run back up the court and defend.
Yeah,
it was
a gritty game back in the day.
Yeah, but MJ, he opened up the 3-point shot a lot more. He started shooting more threes. He started doing all the flash dance stuff. I mean, who in a game at that time was going up and doing the rock the cradle and throwing it down?
Yeah, exactly.
Or even running up on someone and posterizing them. Mm-hmm. You probably didn't see it a bunch.
No, you didn't.
You had some people with their moves, like you had Kareem with the sky hook. But
you had Clyde Drexler, you had Magic. But the thing is that they didn't bring the flashiness. They didn't bring the we talk about Showtime Lakers, but Showtime Lakers, they worked because they were in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
This was gritty Chicago.
Yeah, and another thing too is that time the game was ran through the point guard. The point guard controlled the court. The point guard, if you had a great point guard,
and
Johnson,
and a great big man,
John Stockton, you have great point guard. You had a great team. You had a great offensive play structure. MJ made it. Now the offense ran through him. No matter what, everything ran through MJ. And even though the point guard may have taken the ball up the court, MJ was the one who ran through it. The shooting guard became the person to go to, which is where Kobe, the offense started running through Kobe, not the point guard. Then but now the game has evolved. Now LeBron's position, that small forward, even power forward, is now the position that everyone...
It's a positionless game now. That's what it is.
Yeah, you're just given that title. Yeah. But it's pretty much now just line up against the guy against your size, or the guy you can guard better than that guy can.
Yeah.
And just play. It's not anymore of now okay, this is what the center does. This is what the power forward's job is. This is what the small forward's job is. The point guard and the shooting guard. Now it's just.
But we're getting a little off topic here, and I want to get back to it. When Jordan won his rings, he won it against some gritty teams.
He did.
He won it versus the Bad Boys. He won it versus the Boston Celtics. Now, give it to me that they were at the end of their careers. They were a little bit older, but they were still the gritty teams. They were still the champions, and Jordan hadn't won championships yet. Mm-hmm. And Jordan had to go through them to win.
Yeah, no, Jordan had to, and Jordan cut his teeth because Jordan was the only player on the Bulls for a long time until they got Pippen.
Yeah,
then Pippen started to emerge, and he was by far the second best player in the NBA.
Probably, you could have said he was the best player, but the thing is that Michael was there.
Yeah, MJ's MJ.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, then you go, let's forward to when LeBron wins his titles. He wins it versus probably one of the most dominant teams in the Spurs with Ginobili, Parker, Duncan, Bowen.
Yeah.
They get swept, but then he gets beaten again by Dirk, Steve, I think, Kidd was on that team. Then there was that team that he had to play against. Then he goes and plays in Cleveland, and then he has to take on the Warriors.
Yeah.
So, people say, yeah, he was more competition. But here's the thing, though, is that basketball has opened up more.
Yeah, it's changed. I mean, back in the late 80s, early 90s, if you went to the paint and someone swatted your shot and, smacked your arm clean off, you kept going. There was no foul. Yeah. Now, if you even graze the guy's pinky or look at him wrong, they're calling a shooting foul. So now, and it's opened up for more people like Steph Curry who can just throw everything up from the 3-point line and be comfortable doing it.
And beyond the 3-point line.
Yeah, because they're not in your face. They're not hitting you. There's no intimidation factor anymore. Because back then they got into everyone's head. Perfect example of getting into everyone's head is the guy who should have been on the Dream Team but wasn't because everyone in the league hated him in that time was
Isaiah Thomas.
The man got into everyone's head. MJ hates him to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Because he got into his head. Well, he doesn't. He hates him as a player.
Yeah.
But everyone hated him because he got into your head.
If you've listened to old Kobe documents, he even says, "I am the biggest shit talker in the league."
Yeah, because it's a mental game, and that has gotten lost. And there's still some players out there that get physical, get into the mental game. I mean, you have Dwight Howard. He's a physical man. Mm-hmm. But you put a lot of these guys now into that time frame.
I think I made this point to you the other time we were talking about it. Real quick, I need to just real quick. I got one leg falling asleep. AD probably would not survive in the old school game.
No, he's too. I mean, he's tall, he's big, but he's too thin. Mm-hmm. He's too fragile. You
have guys who were they were 230, but they were 230, and they were just upper body strength, and they would just beat you up in the paint.
Yeah, no, they beat everyone up in the paint. I mean, perfect case of that is Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, if you were going to get a bucket, he was going to make you earn that bucket. If you were going to get a board, he made you earn every bit of that board. There was no just give me to clear the court. He was, he was fighting. People were fighting. I mean, that's why they were the bad boys. They literally fought people on the court.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting to know that yes, LeBron is winning it with so-called more competition, but there are more good players in the league now than there were when Jordan played.
Yeah.
That's the reason Jordan played so many of those guys over and over and over again.
Yeah, and it's just an evolution of athleticism.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, when you have guys like Zion who are 6'4", borderline 280 pounds, who can run like a gazelle and jump
out of the building.
Yeah, and jump out of nowhere too. You
have the Greek Freak.
Yeah, the Greek Freak. Yeah, he's a 7-footer pretty much.
He's a legitimate 7-footer
and he can run the court. He can shoot. He's just building up a 3-point game.
He's getting there.
But I mean, even someone like AD who has point guard skills, who's now a big man. Mm-hmm. So it's the evolution of the game, and of us as people too.
Yeah.
Because athleticism across all sports is getting better and more. Everything's getting more involved. But so is there a debate there between is LeBron better than MJ? Yes, there is that debate. But again, my question to you is: has LeBron done for basketball in this era what MJ did for basketball in his era? My answer to that question is no, he has not, and that's why MJ is still looked at as as the GOAT of the NBA. Because, I mean, you have guys who have just as many rings as him out there. Or more.
Yeah.
You know, but no one talks about them.
You know,
because what did they do for basketball?
Yeah, and the thing is that you look at the guys with more rings who are more accomplished. I'm just going to go off on this real quick tangent. You look at a guy like Kareem. He owns the scoring title. He has the most points scored in NBA history. And he is a 6-time champion.
Yeah.
And he won it with multiple teams, but he also won it in the 60s and the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the thing. That's the difference between the two. Kareem was the most dominant player.
Yeah, I mean, and you have, the man who's the NBA logo. But he's not noted as the greatest basketball player of all time. Will Chamberlain, who owns the record for most points in a game, that will probably never be touched. He was willed to still, but is he the greatest player of all time? No. Could Jordan have played in any era? Absolutely.
I think Jordan could play in any era.
If Jordan played in his prime in this era, he would just ruin
players.
The NBA. He would ruin the league.
And the thing is that if you take LeBron and you put him into the era of the bad boys, he could play in that era because he is big enough, he is strong enough.
Yeah, he is physical.
But the thing is that his body would not hold up for as many seasons as it is right now.
Yeah, and that's why those guys had shorter careers back then too. Most likely they got beat up.
Yeah.
But
real quick, since we're on this last topic, I'm gonna put this out there. Who do you put on your Mount Rushmore of NBA GOATs?
I mean, it's tough because you have to look at people in their players in their respective positions and how great they were. I mean, because obviously you have MJ. I mean, you also have Kobe, who was, one of the greatest also. I mean, and LeBron, yes, without a doubt, LeBron will go down as one of the greatest players in NBA history. But then you have, guys who are out there. You have like Shaq, you have Magic, you have Kareem, you have Pippen, you have Rodman, you have all these dudes. Even Allen Iverson, for when he was in the league, Allen Iverson crossed over MJ.
He made it cool to have tattoos and the arm sleeve and cornrows and the head
and wear the baggy clothes.
Yeah,
he crossed over MJ.
He crossed over MJ.
And
so is it hard to say that? Yes, absolutely.
It is.
At the same time, is that we need to just respect that we are watching legends in their time.
Yeah, we're watching literally a legend from start to finish.
And I think we can all say that we're lucky enough that at the end of when we started getting into the sports, we got to see the end of MJ, and we got to watch Kobe.
We got to see the beginning of Kobe. We got to see Shaq. We got to see all these other guys too. I mean, even like Steve Nash. You got to see the end of John Stockton. We got to see the mailman, Carl Postman Malone,
and then we get to see the birth of LeBron James, and now Giannis, Steph Curry, those guys,
Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, and all those guys are just So I mean, really, do you have a debate? Yes, you do. Do you have a debate that LeBron's better than Kobe? Yes, you do. But at the same time, just enough with the debating and trying to prove who's better and who. Just sit back and enjoy what you get to witness, because there may be an era where you don't get to witness a legacy or a legend go through their time.
Yeah.
It's just and it stems to. I mean, my best example too is Bo Jackson. If you look at Bo Jackson's stats, was he the most fantastic baseball player or football player? Statistically, no. But it's what he did and how he did it. It's his legend. That's why there's the legend of Bo Jackson. No one debates was Bo better than this person. Just they enjoyed what he did at his time.
Yeah.
Just like people enjoyed what MJ did in his time. What people enjoyed Kobe did, what LeBron did. So just enjoy what you actually get to witness and watch, because we're lucky to be able to witness some of these great magical things.
Yeah.
Because I say magical because there's only a handful of people in the world who can do that and be that great against the best of it. Think about it. Basketball is literally, you go to college, you have the best of the best. Then you get to the pros, you have the best of the best of the best in there.
And it's worldwide.
Yeah, and that's worldwide. Mm-hmm. And so now, and then you stem it to, he's better than the best of the best of the best. And so, and it's just enjoy it. Is all I'm trying to say.
And we can say this
enjoy.
And we can say this with any sport, but we're focused on basketball just for the sole fact it's been a very popular subject. But let's move on. We've been on this for the last
too long.
Yeah.
But
let's go on.
Let's go on
to some football.
The wide world of football. So we have our results right here, printed up here. So for week 6, we have a draw between myself and Mr. Adam here at 8-6 each this week. A little rough week for the both of us, but that's okay. We will rebound, bringing my record for the season at 26-19, and Adam's to 28-15. So
we're still good overall.
Yeah. We're still close. A lot of season left, a lot of predictions to come up, and who knows, one of us might even get a clean sweep week. Yeah. We should do something for the person that gets the first clean sweep.
Yeah, we should. We'll talk about it.
So anyways, let's move on. Let's go to our games here and what we have. First game we'll cover is probably the best game
of the week.
The Texans and
the Titans.
Titans pull it out in overtime, 42-36, and overtime was the Derrick Henry show.
Yeah, and I watched this game live during it happening. It was so entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
These guys played phenomenally both sides of the ball, and I thought personally the Texans were just going to get blown out. But they came to play.
They were leading but the Titans had to come back to tie it.
Yes, you're correct.
Now, the Titans did make a questionable call. In the fourth quarter, they're going for the 2-point conversion to try and lock them out completely, and they failed it, which allowed them to score. If they would have just kicked the field goal, they would have been up by 8, and the Titans would have had to score the 2-point conversion. But they went for the 2 to try and lock them out completely. They missed it. Titans come back, score, kick the field goal, send the game into overtime. And Derrick Henry, 94-yard touchdown run, and it was literally just a one-cut run. Stiff arm, running like a man. That is a lot of man running the ball. And then it was the Derrick Henry show again with a big reception for, it was like 50 yards. And then they did the Wildcat direct snap to Derrick Henry, who just plowed his way in. And also, by the way, I saw this fun fact for the Texans for Deshaun Watson. This is his, I think, 3rd or 4th game this year where he's thrown for 4 or more touchdowns and the team has lost.
Wow.
Yeah. So, interesting fact there. But moving on,
real quick, and let me take a quick break here real quick. Sorry about that.
Thank you for the quick recess. I know it's going to be a split second when you see it, but, it was
So we move on to the next game. We have the Bengals and the Colts.
And the Bengals were leading for a majority of this game, actually. The Colts had to come back from a 21-point deficit. And I think it was a great showing. It shows the veteran ness of Mr. Felipe Rivera on the comeback run there. Joe Burrow making a nice stab, and AJ Green having himself a nice day as well for the first time in a very long time. Pardon the barks in the background. But I think over time, the Bengals' record isn't going to indicate how good Joe Burrow is or will be, but
he's going to have a Peyton Manning type of rookie season, I feel.
Yeah, no, it's going to be rough. He's going to put up great numbers, but it's going to be rough. Yeah. Moving on.
The Falcons.
The fabulous Falcons versus the Vikings. The Falcons slapping the Vikings. Their first game after their head coach getting fired, 40-23. Now, is this game a showing of how good the the Falcons actually are, and maybe it was the coach? Or how horrible the Vikings actually are?
I think it's a combination of both. I think the Falcons do have legitimate talent on that team. That's what we talked about last week, that you need to be in a sell mode. And I think the Vikings are not as good as they are. Or I think Kirk Cousins is not as good as he thinks he is.
No, Kirk Cousins is on the hot seat right now with his interception ratio he has going on right now. He might not make it through the whole season. So,
I think this is the time where Mike Zimmer needs to say, "Thank you very much to Kirk Cousins.
Thank you for your services. Go ride the pine, and we'll get someone else in here." Yeah. And Zimmer's also on the hot seat.
Yeah, and he needs to do something to save his job right now.
It's rough, but he's on the hot seat at the moment. But the Vikings defense was just a wide open hole. But moving on next, we have the Broncos and the Patriots in the game of the field goal.
Real quick before we go on to the team, how do you think Bill Belichick feels that he lost the game to where they never scored a touchdown.
And he just lost. He lost to the kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be hurtful to him there. I mean, offensively, the Broncos were moving the ball. I mean, Philip Lindsay got his touches. He had over 100 yards. Passing-wise, they were doing great. They couldn't punch it in. But Brandon McManus, the kicker, he was just...
Yep, lighting up.
He was lighting it up, and the Patriots couldn't move the ball either offensively. No. I mean, they had Cam Newton back in his first game back. So, I was expecting... a
little bit better
from Cam Newton, but hey, the Broncos defense came to play.
Yeah,
it was by far, you have to look at it as a great game defensively. There's only one touchdown scored in the game, I think. Yeah, one touchdown pretty much scored in the game. And other than that, it was a good game, but the Broncos pulled it out.
Next game we have the Giants versus
the Washington football team. Danny Dimes getting the Giants their first W, and it was a close game, 20-19. It was a 1-point game. So and that was kind of the game, at least I was expecting from it. But it's a showing too that because the Washington football team went out. They beat the Eagles the first game of the year. They've kept up with some people, but the Giants have been just getting slapped by everyone, and they came out and they won.
Yeah,
I think it's a good bolster for them. I think it's a good push going forward into next week, which we will cover because they have the Eagles. But my boy Danny Dimes was dropping off some dimes and making some deposits in the dime factory.
Next game we have the Ravens and the Eagles.
And the Ravens coming out with the W 30-28. Ravens were dominating for most of the game, and then the Eagles mounted a nice comeback.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised by that.
I think maybe it's more of the Ravens letting off the gas a little bit at the end there, as they normally do. Because if you look at the box score numbers,
it's all garbage time.
They didn't really do anything tremendous, so it's just, but hey, they pulled it out, pulled the W.
We might be looking too much into it, but yeah. Then the total annihilation of the Browns.
Yes. Odell and the Browns got annihilated by the Steelers. Did not expect that kind of dominance.
And Baker just played terrible.
You got taken out for Case Keenum.
Dude.
I didn't even know he was still alive.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
My lord, you got benched in the fourth quarter because you can't do anything. I don't see, at this rate, Baker Mayfield has looked pretty decent but if he comes out and has another showing like he did against the Steelers, because the Steelers, their defense came to play in a big way, and so did their offense too, especially with the emergence of Claypool, their rookie wide receiver, who they're comparing to Calvin Johnson because of his size, his overall height and size. So
just not
good on them. The Steelers have a great weapon in him and something to build with in the future, especially for Big Ben's chunky monkey ice cream
old self
eating self to go there. But let's move on from the annihilation here.
The Bears and the Panthers.
Yes, the Bears and the Panthers. We both picked... Well, no, I picked the Panthers. Sorry, I picked the Panthers. I thought Teddy Bridgewater was going to do okay, but the Bears came to play.
That defense came to play.
Yeah, no, they looked good. I'm not going to lie.
And Nick Foles did enough not to lose the game.
Yes, he did. Hey, Nick Foles giving him that run. Who knows? He pairs across TB12 again in the postseason. They could be moving along. Nick Foles is the new TB kryptonite these days. But anyways, next, moving on, we have the Lions and the Jaguars. Finally, the Lions offense emerges and comes out and does what they can do. Swift, finally, he came out. They have a great talent in him. He was normally a passing down back, and now he immersed himself in the running game. To complement Adrian Peterson as well, who he may be old, but he still
runs downhill.
Yeah, he's still AP. He's not a dainty lad, and he can still get it done. Jags are just, they went into fire sale mode. The only person they kept is Minshew. They're probably going to build off of Minshew Mania.
They may just trade Minshew Mania.
They could. Who knows? He could get let go. Could go to the Browns. Take Baker Mayfield's spot.
Or go to the Bears.
Or he could go to the Bears. Who knows? But anyways, Lions, great showing. Your defense, great showing against Jacksonville. You finally came, to play like the big boys that you can be, and you got the W.
Yep.
Good job.
So next one we got the Finns and the Jets.
And the Finns just slapped the Jets 24-0. Fitzmagic against his old team, laying down the Jets are horrible. But I do want to touch on this now. The Jets have added to their illustrious repertoire. The Jets have added from the butt fumble, now they have the butt interception. In which I can't remember the player who did it, but he intercepted the ball using his derriere. Fantastic. Round of applause, hands to you there. You really thought with your head and used your rear on that one.
I think, wasn't it Joe Flacco was the quarterback on that play?
No, the Jets intercepted the ball.
Oh, sorry, the Jets.
Yeah, no, Joe Flacco is, for the Jets. I mean,
that's right, I forget.
He can't throw the ball to his own defense, sadly. But, the butt interception, now people are going to put the butt fumble behind them, hopefully, from one Mr. Marcus Dirty Sanchez, and move on with that. But, hey, Jets.
You got to win.
You got the number 1 pick coming up.
And, you got the loss. And Adam Gates, you are now what we like to call, I think we're going to call it every week now.
The hot seat.
You're on the hot seat.
Yeah, along with Jim.
Yeah.
Along with Jim.
You have officially put yourself on the hot seat. You are... I gave you a lot of credit.
You put it onto high boil is what you've done.
Yeah. So we are filming this Monday night. Maybe tomorrow morning we get the call to say that Adam Gates has been...
Because they made some efforts. I mean, they signed Le'Veon Bell. They picked up Darnold. I mean, he's not as bad of a quarterback as everyone. He's just on a horrible team. Mm-hmm. They do have some good offensive linemen in there. They do have some decent receivers. And on defense, they picked out some defensive weapons as well. And then this year, they just fire sale mode. Got rid of it. They didn't even trade. They just... Bye.
Terrible.
Deuces. Moving on to what we thought was going to be the best game of the week and turned out to be a slapping is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers TB12 versus the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Okay, we're going to talk about this now because we both thought that this was going to be
a good game.
And we both thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to lay it down because he's been killing it all year. But we did overlook one great fact, and that is the fact that every defense that the Packers have played this year is ranked in the lowest of the league. I think the highest ranked defense they played up to this point was 22nd in points allowed for opponents. Yeah. That's bad. Yeah. And Tampa Bay is number 8. That's good. Mm-hmm. That's very good. And we overlooked that fact. And this is also the best pass rush that the Packers have had to face. Yeah. This is probably the best front four they've had to face. And Aaron Rodgers got to get back to his rivalry with Ndamukong Suh, who got in his nice cheap shot on Aaron Rodgers for the day. Mm-hmm. Same rivalry, different uniform. And the Buccaneers defense just made the Packers look
like a Pop Warner team.
Yeah, no, it was bad. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, for those of you who had him in fantasy football, he gave you 2 points this week. In fact, one of the guys in my league, he had Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, and he benched Tom Brady and started Rodgers.
Ouch.
Yeah, not good for him. But anyways, yeah, no, it was bad, and I mean, and Tampa Bay's offense was flowing, it was clicking, and their defense was just smothering. And Aaron Rodgers looked frustrated. He looked angry. Mm-hmm. You know, he looked upset. But I mean, you look at the Division II that
they play
Green Bay's in.
Besides the Bears.
Yeah, they're, the rest of the division is,
yeah, pretty mediocre.
So, I mean, we'll see, how the Packers move on from this, from getting slapped. But next, we have the Rams and the 49ers. Another surprise.
You lost on the Niners. I was a bit surprised by this. I know I gave you a lot of crap for this when I called you, but I was very surprised by this. I thought the Rams would play better.
Yeah, and it's one of those things of those interdivision games where, and I mean, the most handsome man in all football, Jimmy G, he was doing his job. And I mean, the 49ers, they were running the ball. They established their run. And I think they just did what they had to do to beat the Rams' pass rush, which was just quick passes. Quick passes to the outside. I mean, Deebo Samuel's back. He runs hard. He's a big man, hard to bring down. The running game is the best in the league. I mean, the running back's averaging 7 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And I mean, despite all their injuries, the 49ers have 16 players on the IR right now.
Yeah.
Majority of them coming from the defensive side. Yeah. They've used 3 different quarterbacks this year so far.
Garoppolo, Mullen, who's the third one?
I don't know, but they've used 3 different quarterbacks so far this year.
Interesting.
And they have more people on IR right now than anyone in the league. But you know what? Their defense stepped up.
Yeah.
Shows great supporting cast from them. Their offense, they're clicking. I mean, you got the Skittle Man. The running game strong. Deebo Samuel's back, who's going to be their big help at wide receiver as well as also in the run game because they like to do a lot of sweeps and quick pitches to him. Good on the 49ers. I'm not going to hate. It was a good game. I mean, do I think the Raps could have played better? Absolutely. Their offense just couldn't get going, and their defense just, they didn't have time to do what they do, which is get that pass rush going. So, hey, good on them. They figured it out. But we got one more showing with them. Yep. And we will be in SoFi Stadium.
And then we move on to the first of the 2 Monday night games with first the Chiefs and the Bills.
And the Chiefs pulling off the W. The Bills, for the most part of the game, looked a little flustered on offense.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They looked flustered. Really, the score doesn't reflect how much the Chiefs actually dominated the game. But again, 2 great teams. One of them had to lose. I mean, I still think the Bills are going to be the real deal this year. I think the Bills are.
This is a speed bump in their season.
Yeah, and every team's going to run through those little lumps, especially when you get paired up against your defending Super Bowl champions, the most high-powered offense in the league, which is now going to get even more high-powered
with Le'Veon
Bell, which the Chiefs' current running back, Edwards, he ran this game. He's trying to make a case to keep his spot as a starter.
Yeah,
and keep the majority.
He actually may keep his job as the starting back, but the thing is that Le'Veon will probably become that flex back.
It'll become more of a 2-headed monster. Have one of them a change of pace back, and they'll definitely have time split between them once Le'Veon gets more established in that offense. Which he better, because I traded for him in my fantasy league, so he better. Yeah, put the best foot forward for me.
And then we had tonight's game. We had the late game, the Cardinals and the Cowboys.
The Cardinals.
And can I please take the time for this?
Okay, take the time.
The Cowboys, I'm sorry, you looked pedestrian in this game. I watched the whole game, by the way. Actually, I take that back. I watched all the 3 quarters, and then I turned off in the 4th quarter because you guys just looked that bad.
Yeah. The boys defensively, you're a hole now. You're not even Swiss cheese anymore. At least Swiss cheese has some continuity to it around the hole.
And the offense, not any better. Is he giving the ball twice? Andy Dalton.
And the receivers were dropping passes. No, the receivers were dropping passes. Dalton was putting them in their hands, and they were just not catching them. I don't know if it's... You could say that it could be they're not used to how Dalton throws, because every quarterback release is different, which means that ball and entry to their hands is going to be different. They're used to Dak. It could just be a bad game. It could just be because the boys just suck right now.
But the boys show that they are not the team right now.
No, they are. And, they're not the business.
And I'm going to say this right now. The Big Dallas, you better be ready because I think Mike McCarthy might be out on the hot seat next.
Yeah, and just a quick touch note now with the Cardinals' victory here. I just want to give you a standing of the NFC West record right now. You have Seattle at 5-0.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
You have Seattle at 5-0. You have the Rams and the Cardinals both at, I believe, now a staggering 4-2. Yeah, you have both of them 4-2, and then the 49ers at 3-3. The whole division pretty much has a winning record. I don't think another division of football has every team where they're pretty much 500 or better. I see every team in that division finishing with an above 500 record.
That would be impressive.
Now, let's go to the flip side and talk about the NFC East, which our first matchup for Thursday Night Football is going to be the Gigantes and the Eagles.
This is what sports need to do, the NFC East. They need to pick them up by their britches, pick them up this way, throw them out the window, and say, we're done with you for the season.
They need to just burn it down, claim the insurance money, and rebuild that.
Because that division is terrible. So they're going to go into this week, and all 4 teams are going to play each other.
Yes.
Okay? And they are playing literally to see if it's going to be a 4-way or a 3-way tie for first place.
It's going to be a 3-way or 2-way tie. So
whatever.
So here's the breakdown for it, because we have the Giants and the Eagles. Okay?
That's Thursday night?
That's Thursday night. And then we have the Washington football team and the Cowboys. Cowboys currently lead the division with 2 wins. Okay, Eagles are in second because they have a tie, and the Giants and the Washington football team are tied for third place in the division. Now, if the Giants can win, okay, that'll give them 2 wins. That'll put them in the tie for first. If the Washington football team can win, that will make a 3-way tie for first place at 2 wins, with the Eagles in second with 1 win. Now, if the Eagles can win and the Washington football team wins, the Eagles will take sole possession of first place because of their tie. And Washington football team, and Dallas the Washington football team and Dallas would be tied at 2 wins apiece, with the Giants clipping.
Basically, it's a lot of craziness between these 4 teams who are just terrible.
Yes, yeah, no.
So let's get predicting.
I'm going with my boy Danny Dimes. They got momentum coming off the W against the Washington football team. Another division game. They played great against the boys, and they played to win against the Washington football team. I'm going with the Giants. I know my man Steve's gonna love it. Danny Dimes is bringing a W home for you.
I'm going to agree with that as well. I'm going to take the Giants on this one as well.
Yeah.
For the sole fact that I think the Giants are the better team overall.
Yeah, and I think last week was a nice boost of morale for them to get going. But moving on. Next, we have the Lions and the fabulous Falcons.
Ugh.
Who are you going with? They're playing in Atlanta.
I'm going to take Atlanta.
You going Hot Atlanta?
Yeah, let's see if they can give me 2 in a row.
See if they can give you 2 W's in a row. I'm going to go with, they are favored, but I'm going to go with the Lions' newly formed offense. I'm going with Detroit in this one. The arm of Matthew Stafford is going to prevail, and then AP and Swift are going to do what they did this week and keep it going. So I'm liking it. The Falcons, you had your mojo off of firing your coach. You played a horrible Vikings team. Now you're going to play who I think is the better team in Detroit. Good luck to you. Next, we have another interdivision game with the Browns and the Bengals.
This game's in Cincy, right?
The game is in Cincy.
So the Browns won the first game, but they're coming off this horrible loss. Mayfield played well against them the first time. I'm going to take the Browns.
You're taking the Browns. Okay, so the Browns are favored to win this game at -3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think it's tracking. I'm going Bengals.
I like it.
I'm going with my boy, the Stogie pulling Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Who can probably hit a Stogie in one pull.
Probably.
Next, we have probably the game of the week. The game that should have happened 3 weeks ago. You have the undefeated 5-0 Steelers against the undefeated 5-0 Titans.
It's a lot.
Pittsburgh is favored by 1.5 points. This is even money now. We're talking even line. When you're at 1.5 points, you're at even line picking of who's going to win and lose. Now, we're picking straight up. We're not picking off the betting odds, but I do love me some sports betting, so I do factor that in when I take a look at everything. They're in Tennessee. The Steelers have the hot game, but the Titans, I'm going with the Titans. I'm riding on the back of my boy Derrick Henry, who got me 40 points this week in fantasy football.
I'm going to go for my inner Denzel Washington and say, we are the Titans, the mighty Titans.
Is this going to be the day that the Steelers remember?
The day they play the Titans.
Yeah, because they're going to be their first blemish on there. But that is probably going to be the best game of the whole week.
I'm going to laugh at this complete blowout.
Right? On one side or the other, that'd be fantastic. Next, this is the week of interdivision games.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Panthers and the Saints.
Saints are coming off a bye week. Panthers coming off another loss. The Saints aren't playing well, but they do get the bye week, like I just said. I think they're going to try to make up for some of their mistakes. I'm going to take the Saints in this game.
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints as well. Saints are favored to win by 7.5. Normally that means for, a decent game. Will probably be separated by 5 points, but I'm picking the Saints overall. Next, not much to say on this one, the Bills and the Jets.
I'm taking the Jets. I'm just kidding. Man, I ain't that stupid.
Sorry, Oscar, but we're going with the Bills. They're going to circle the wagons on your Jets and keep you guys grounded at...
Real quick, everybody, if you're watching this video, leave a like right now.
Right now.
Right now. Also, please stay to the end. We do have a big announcement coming up.
Yes. We do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Told you about it.
Oh. Next, we have the boys and the Washington football team.
You're taking Washington, aren't you?
That was favored by 3 and 1 Washington football team.
I like it.
Going Washington football team.
I didn't take the boys this week. I'm going to take the boys this upcoming week, though.
See, I'm really hoping for the 3-way tie for first. That's why I want the Washington football team.
I know where you're going for.
I know. They're in Washington. Dallas has got to travel. They were just playing horrible. Their defense is atrocious. Let's be real. So, yeah, I'm going Washington football team. Next, we have the Packers and the Texans. This is a tough one for me to look at because, Packers are not favored to win by much, 3.5 points. So it's going to be close. Who you got? You going with the Texans? You know what? I'm following in suit. I'm going with the Texans. Texans have a great defense. Let's see if they can fluster Aaron Rodgers and take a note out of Tampa Bay's play book.
Yeah.
Next, moving on, we have, which will be another fantastic game, the Seahawks and the Cardinals.
Ooh, good game.
And they are playing in Arizona. Seahawks are coming off the bye. Russell Wilson is playing like a god. I'm not even going to deny that. But the Cardinals do have a great defense. Budda Baker is my man. You're going with
the
Hawks. You think they're going to stay undefeated?
Yeah.
Okay. It's an even money line game, too.
I know.
There's no...
I'm going with the Seahawks just for the serve value. They have the full team around them. They have a good offense. They got a good defense. Pete Carroll has done this before. Cliff Kingsbury hasn't before. He's got more hype behind him than he probably knows what to do with.
True, but now I will say this. The Seahawks have not been playing like the Seahawks started the season the last game or two.
I know.
But
they're coming off a bye, though.
They are coming off the bye, but sometimes that doesn't always help when you came off of it for a team that throttled another team. You got Kyler Murray coming to know as quarterback, and he is the dual threat. He can throw the ball accurately, and he's smart with the ball, and he can run like lightning. My God, is he quick. He's actually really like a triple threat. And, he's got the best. He's got... Let me get my tangent in.
Ow.
You get your tangents in. Let me get mine in.
Okay.
All right?
Let me get my pillow and my blanket then.
The Cardinals have a great defense. Budda Baker is stud muffin. They got Patrick Peterson, who I didn't even know was still alive, to be honest with you. And their Cardinals offense is starting to hum and come together. I'm going with the Cards, baby. Going with the Cards. They're going to win, and they're going to knock the Seahawks down a peg in life.
Okay.
They will be the more dominant bird in this one.
Okay.
Next, moving on, we have the Chiefs and the Broncos. Chiefs. Yeah. Going with the Kansas City Chiefs on that one there. Which no odds for that game either, surprising. Moving on, we have the 49ers and the Patriots in New England.
I'm going to take the Patriots in this game.
I'm going with the Pats in this one as well. I know the 49ers had a strong showing against the Rams, but Bill Belichick comes to play.
Oh, he's going to be pissed, too.
Yes, he's not going to lose to field goals again. Next, we have a battle of the one-win teams in Jacksonville, Minshew Mania versus the Chargers and Mr. Herbert Ice Cream Henry. Justin Herbert Ice Cream.
They're going to play in Los Angeles?
Yes.
I'm taking the Jags.
You going with the Jags and Minshew Mania? I'm going with the Chargers.
Okay.
In this one. Sorry, Minshew, I love you. You're an icon and a legend of the game, but I got to go with the Chargers. Next, moving on to the Sunday night game of the week, we have TB12 versus the Raiders.
Raiders.
Las Vegas.
I have to do it. because I've done it so far. It's worked for me. I'm going to take Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm going with Tampa Bay as well. Who knows? They might, for a one night only, re-implement the tuck rule.
Shut up.
Just for you.
I hate you.
And moving on to our Monday night matchup, we have Nick Foles and the Bears against Jared Goff, Aaron Donald, and Jalen Ramsey in the Rams. The Rams are favored by 5.5 points. That gives me some hope. Hold on really quick. Let's see here. They are giving the Rams a 70% chance of winning this game.
I'm going to take the Rams.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rams as well. Sorry. I'm probably going to pick my team every week. That's just how I roll. But it should be a good game. So
we got our picks in for this week.
We got our picks in for this week. We will see what happens. Let's see if one of us can get the clean sweep.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so the big announcement for this week. This is what we have talked about. I know he can't remember. Sorry, buddy. I know. But what we want you to do is we have a new announcement we would like the supporters of this channel to do. I want you to go, and I want you to get 2 people. I want to get your mom, your dad, your wife, and your sister-in-law, your kid, and his best friend, and whoever it is. And I want you to grab their phone, and I want you to hit the subscribe button to this channel.
Yes.
And then I want you to send me a screenshot of them subscribing to our channel. And if they do, you will be the shout out of the week. We are going to implement that now going forward.
Shout out of the week. Yes, you can send it, the picture, to our Instagram page, All Sports Uncut. Really easy to find, really easy to search. Put it in the comments section, send it to us. If you're having issues finding it, let us know in the comments section. We will gladly take a look. But yes, we would like to start implementing the shout out of the week.
And also, if we have the supporter of the month, I'm making this up on the fly. Supporter of the month, maybe we'll bring you in as the third.
Yeah, we'll get you in as the floating third for this show.
Guys, thank you very much for being a supporter of us. We really appreciate you guys being here with us, enjoying this, listening to us ramble, listening to us. For
about an hour, taking an hour time of your day that could be spent doing so much more productive and better things. Actually, you know what? No, you can't spend the hour doing something better because there's nothing better than this sports channel. We are the sports channel you did not know you needed in life until you found us. That is what we are. ESPN may be the worldwide leader in sports, but we are the best there is in sports. Simple as that.
Thank you guys very much. Have you ready to see me? Please don't forget, go to the IG, 2 subscribers, and we'll give you a shout out.
Yes, and you know what? Throw in a comment too. Add to the flavor.
Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your night.
Later.